Well, and how much, like, because obviously there's so much momentum happening in, like, the outdoor rec economy as a whole in Maine.
Yeah.
And so, like, I would be curious because, admittedly, you're the first, like, maker that we've really had on the podcast. So I would be curious about your perspective of coming from, like, that side of the industry and being part of so much of this growth, right? Because, I mean, like, last year, I think the year-over-year numbers were, like, the outdoor rec economy grew by 14% in the state.
Yeah.
So, curious about your perspective because I think we're so fortunate to be in a state where we have both the manufacturers and makers, the service providers, the experiences, then you get into the whole nonprofit side of like all the conservation work that's happening. Like, so we have all of the elements that make up the outdoor rec economy compared to maybe some other states that don't have that piece as much. So just curious about like your perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, being in Maine does feel really special. As a maker, I think like just being in Maine in general like is a better selling point than almost any other state I think in the country, which is I can't really put my finger on why, but like there's a couple states out there. I think Montana is one. I think Vermont kind of as well, but like there's just something sort of like it's pretty, sort of rural to the rest of the country in a lot of ways, but like rural and like more fun way than some other states maybe. And I just think like saying like a product's made in Maine like goes a lot farther than in a lot, product made in Massachusetts, like nobody cares. But Maine I think is like, feels special, and it's somewhere, it's vacation land for a reason. And so it's alluring, I think. In terms of like the growth, like, thinking about the growth of like the economy in general, it's a little hard for me to have some perspective on it because just the brand has been growing as well, and so it's hard to separate those things. I've noticed a lot, like it's really noticeable to me the growth of the brand recognition basically is just a lot higher than like say a year ago. I get I reach out to retailers every now and then just to try to pick up some more wholesale accounts, and if I've, between last year and this year, like some of the same ones who didn't respond or said like they weren't interested are now like saying like their employees have suggested it, or they've like started following me and they're like into it, or they've heard of Alpha and like now they want to carry some. And so that's some sort of growth that I've seen like in the business, and just maybe like some more like, I mean, most honestly, just like growth of like popularity of Alpha in general.
That's
in
cool.
your brand.
Yeah.
People hear about Sandbob.
Yeah.
Through social media, maybe.
Social media, just,
Word of
literally
mouth.
just like the more hoodies you get out there, the more people are seeing them. Like they're unique. Like a lot of them are unique, and so people will ask. And I finally started putting the tag on the front and not the back.
Yeah, behind the hood.
Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah,
that's smart.
Yeah.
I like behind the hood.
Yeah,
I get it.
Subtle, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart because it's like, I mean, especially when you're recreating, it's like, oh, what's that? I want that. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
And like a lot of us nerds who are curious about gear, that's how it spreads.
Yeah.
So that's how I ask questions.
Right. Yeah. It's, we have an extremely like captive audience because most of the time when that question comes up, you are in the outdoors. And inevitably, it's also when like some piece of gear that they have is not currently working, and they're like, "What are you wearing?"
Totally.
Yeah.